The 5 most common mistakes that you make when you're overwhelmed. In this video, I'm going to tell you the 5 common mistakes that you make when you're overwhelmed. The things you actually need to avoid. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Number 1, you forget to lean on your support network around you. You've got so many people around you who you just forget you can call on. They've probably been there for you in the past, and now it's your turn to call on them. Most of us push them away. I remember at my darkest time of my life, when I had no money, I was at rock bottom, I forgot to ask for my support network. I forgot to ask people around me if they could help me. I felt like I was alone, but I wasn't. I had people around me I probably could have called on, even though I'd alienated myself from the world. And you can do that too. You can call these people. You don't have to alienate yourself like I did. So lean on your support network around you. Don't just feel like this feeling of overwhelm is getting so bad that you can't go and ask somebody for help, or you can't go and ask somebody for advice. You can't go and say to somebody, hey, is there any way that you might be able to, give me 5 minutes of your time with this, or help me out with this exercise, this task? That's the first fatal mistake. Number 2 is when we are overwhelmed, we forget to take time for us, and we put aside all those tasks that we feel are just gonna add to our complicated agenda and not be in our favor of getting that ultimate task done. But those are the things that are gonna help us be more productive to get that task done, and push them aside. Why do you push them aside? The things that you need the most is the you time. Me time is so important. Mindfulness breaks throughout your day is one of the most important things that you'll do. So do not put them aside because you feel like you're gonna burn out, you're getting overwhelmed. When you're gonna get burnout, when you are feeling overwhelmed, the biggest thing you can do for yourself is take time. I assure you, you will be 10 times more productive if you take a moment to go and breathe, meditate, take a walk in nature, go for a walk with your pet, whatever it might be. Take a mindfulness break where you connect to you. You get back into the present moment. You become aware of yourself, your surroundings. It's often used in psychology. These sorts of tips are what we use to pause and get away from stress. So when you feel overwhelmed, those little actions that you can take, which will help you, but you might not feel they help the goal, they actually do. So try them out. Put one into your day today. Don't try 3, just try 1. Just try one thing that you can do today and repeat it every day till you get the task done, and then continue it for another 7 days. And all of a sudden, 21 days later, it's become a small habit. It takes 21 days on average to form a small habit and 66 days to form a larger one. So that is mistake number 2. Tip number 3, we forget to make small goals. Whenever we're going through something and we feel like we've really got to get it done by a certain time, we've got to get that article in, we've got to get that thing that we need to do accomplished by the end of the week, we tend to just try and work towards that one main goal, and we forget that a problem is just a series of smaller challenges that we need to overcome. So whenever you're facing any problem in life, you just need to break it down to a series of smaller challenges. You need to just say, okay, well, that big problem is really big, but actually if I break it down into 20 little smaller tiny things, I could do 1 article tonight, I could do 1 chapter on this tonight, I could do the research tomorrow, and then I could do the final bit of writing on the next day, and then I could hand it in by the end of the week. All of a sudden, that massive task is not as unbearable. So always break things down into smaller, attainable, more achievable goals. When we write things down, it is scientifically proven to help us achieve our goals faster, simply in the act of writing a goal down, putting pen to paper. Why? Because it activates a part of our brain called the ventrolateral prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for motivation, threat, achieving behaviors in many different ways. And so if you write your goals down, these smaller goals towards your main goal, you're more likely to achieve them. Number 4, you feel that overwhelm is actually a weakness. Biggest flaw, it is everything you need to tell you to pause. That's it. Overwhelm and burnout happened to tell you you went way too far past the line. You did not listen to your body. You didn't take care of this gorgeous temple that you're living in. And so your body is just going, I've had enough. Your mind is going, I've had enough. You didn't listen when I gave you the red light signs and the alarm bells were ringing. You didn't listen, so now I'm forcing you to sit the fuck down. So what you need to do is understand when you feel that sense of overwhelm, that is not a weakness, honey. That is a strength. Your body is telling you to slow down. And you're gonna take a moment and you're gonna breathe and you're gonna go and do all the previous things that we've just gone through in the previous tips. And you're gonna take that moment to just rest so that you can recharge. You know, people often say to me when I'm quiet, I like literally feel like I'm sticking myself into a wall like a charger. And they're like, oh, you're being really quiet. And I'm like, no. And I can visually see my own charger into the wall. And I'm like, I'm just recharging. They're like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just refueling the tank. And I'm just taking that moment to me to be zen, because in between everything we do, we must take time to us. Even if you're amidst so many people throughout the day, in between those meetings, in between those Zoom calls, in between looking after your kids and doing your work, take that moment, even if it's in the bathroom, to just keep the light off for a second, close your eyes, and just reconnect. Number 5, you resort back to your old habits. One of the biggest mistakes that we make is that we go back to the old way we were, the things we're used to, because our brain likes familiarity. But it doesn't serve you playing in that realm, because an old habit is not something that serves the new version of you. In order to achieve this goal, you need to realign who you are, recreate who you want to be, and that is formed by habits. So what habits do you have? What are you storing inside of you? What things are you doing every day that are helping towards that goal? What are your habits? Literally think about it. Don't go back to the old bad habits where you stay up all night or you're up really early the next day. Do you remember that before exams? The worst thing you can do. The best thing you do is just say, I accept I haven't done the full thing I need to. I'm gonna have a beautiful night's sleep. I'm gonna read through a couple of things in the morning and then get on and do the exam or get on and do the thing I need to do. You don't wanna stay up and go back to that old habit. You wanna create new ones that are gonna fuel the new version of you and help you achieve it faster. So don't get overwhelmed. Go back through these tips and find something that works for you and just do one thing every day. Just implement one mindfulness habit every day that can help you go towards this main goal you're trying to achieve and stop you from feeling that overwhelm. Take time to you. It's so important.